2 weeks until spring. Finally, a bit of frost has come to Donbass. It will be a bit easier to move, not through mud, when getting to positions. 12th of February, night, time for a report. December 18th was the last people's gathering for the needs of the then newly created 414th separate brigade of unmanned systems, takk, Magyar, when you collected 33 million hryvnias for the brigade's needs. 18.5 million of them we allocated for upgrading and supplementing the fleet of combat pickups and all-wheel drive vans. Our close friends and partners from Norway, the public organization Fritt Ukraina and the People's Self-Defense of Lviv region joined that project. These are the two constant patrons of the Magyar's birds who, for 3 long years, have been taking care of our needs. They will come to mind when mentioning the delivery of 206 assault boats with high-speed Japanese engines when we were defending the left bank bridgehead in the Kherson region. They still take care of us to this day. And at that exact time, when the public funds were collected, we ordered 50 pickups and 20 all-wheel drive vans from them. For renewing the fleet, we paid and transferred 18.5 million collected funds. And the same amount was doubled by the Norwegian public organization, Fritt Ukraina. And the team of the People's Self-Defense of Lviv region took on execution of this project. Today, 18th, 12th, or rather, February, I report to you that the project is completed. All the equipment has been delivered. You will see it now. I will walk a bit. Thanks to our friends, here is their national flag. The Romanian organization Fritt Ukraina from Norway and the People's Self-Defense of Lviv region brought us in 2 stages. As of January 18th, 21 pickups are reported to you. There were several all-wheel drive vans. And now, today on February 12th, we received the final batch consisting of 70 pickups and all-wheel drive vans. I will tell you more. Since we received the first batch, 4 pickups have already been completely destroyed by the enemy while performing our combat missions. And these are only the ones that came from the so-called Norwegian batch. Vehicles today are consumables. There's nothing we can do about it. And that is why we are frugal with purchases of such equipment. We do not purchase or receive new pickups. After all, they burn just like used ones. But a clever person will do the math. For 70 vehicles, we paid 18.5 million. That's about $435,000 at a rate of $6,200 per vehicle. And the same amount was added by the Norwegian side, the Fritt partners. And we acquired cars from the 2016 to 2019 years, which perform well. Specific brands, specific types. Let's go show which ones suit us for task execution. I'm not afraid to show them in that color now, because they're going for quick re-equipment. The enemy will not recognize them from this image I am showing you, so they will be quickly converted to military condition and sent to perform combat tasks. Your constant assistance and care for our needs allow us to implement such plans, for which I am sincerely grateful. And I want to emphasize that we do not abuse the collection of funds. We do not announce any insurmountable needs or tasks. We receive what we receive from the state. But of course, the state cannot provide all the necessary means for us to carry out combat tasks. That's how it is. I do not want to evaluate that. Let's put it this way. When the time and need arise, we reach out to you, our dear subscribers, supporters, and true Ukrainian patriots who respond quite promptly and allow us to raise large sums of money for which we report back. We are not raising funds to purchase drones I have said this and will not hesitate to say it again. These funds we collect are primarily directed towards supporting the sugar factory. This involves the production of ammunition, which is currently being produced at full capacity. Every month, 25,000 anti-tank mines are received by 117 units of the SOU, and we continue production, although we are not collecting money for it. We found additional resources and reach out to you for help, only in extreme cases. And as for equipping the unit, this mostly involves customization and purchasing spare parts for those drones. We want better technical characteristics than those provided by the manufacturer, which we convert in our developments, which you regularly see on our social media. In order for this, for that number of worms to be sunk daily, and we have already crossed the line of, on average, 1.5 platoons per day, 45 wormy creatures are finishing the special military operation. In order for 140 on average, which is the figure from the past month, whole enemies were destroyed and hit daily, so that it calculated as 4,500 or more. The plans we now set for ourselves for destroyed and hit, of course, we rework almost all the acquired equipment with our own hands, as the factory cannot calculate the needs we have for defense. And the AMTC, the uninterrupted use of drones in conditions of dense electronic warfare, means of the enemy, a dense network of electronic intelligence means, and so on. I will not clutter the broadcast with that, as they say. We do not overuse your adjustments, but we greatly appreciate what you are doing for us, as it converts into very important and timely means within the framework of use and execution of combat missions by our unit when we are directly not leaving the front line. And today we are operating on 8 front lines, or maybe 9. We are increasing the number of teams, and the number of active daily deployed teams has long surpassed 3 figures. Among other things, I reported to you that by March 31st, as part of the drone line project, we will add 100 combat-ready units, additional to those we have. And all this will be reflected in our results, which you always see in our public reports. And today, I report to you on the completion of that project, which was initiated back on December 18th. On January 18th, we received the first batch. Today, February 12th, we received the second and final batch, a total of 70 vehicles, 50 combat pickups. We are refitting them for combat conditions. 20 all-wheel drive vans for specific types of crews. And this is quite a significant breath of air in our lungs, because pickups are consumables, the same as drones, but provide good timely response and quality task execution. I want to thank our Norwegian partners from the public organization Fritt Ukraina. I humbly thank the People's Self-Defense of Lviv region and the public organization Chia team simply for responding at the first call. I drop everything and start dealing with such routine work, with those customs, logistics, transport, transfers, and delivering all means we order through them practically to the front line. And the team led by Miss Irina and Mr. Artem, I'm grateful to you for always being there. And to the Ukrainian people, our dear fellow Ukrainians, I thank you for what you provided funding for such a large batch of vehicles with your donations. In turn, I promise that we will continue We will work on it. That vermin swarm that has swarmed onto our land, as long as we have the strength, as long as we have the time allotted for it, as long as there are any of us left alive. Meanwhile, growing, gaining more skills, and growing a team of true professionals. Alive, by the way, as those who are used as intended within the framework of competent mobilization, within the framework of competent involvement in the execution of combat tasks. Here, again, I emphasize that within the framework of the drone line project, simultaneously, 5 organisms of unmanned systems have united in the drone line project. I will list them. This is the 20th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems, K2, known to you, Kirilo Kirillovich Veresa. This is the 429th Separate Regiment, Achilles the eponymous Kommandør. This is the 427th Separate UAV Regiment, Rarok Commander Hassan. And this is a consolidated regiment without a number, known as Phoenix. The State Border Guard Service of Ukraine. Well, and of course the 414th Separate Brigade of Unmanned Systems, Birds of Magyar. These 5 entities are currently constructing within a single project. The very essence of the drone line, which is at the core of the name, is making an unprecedented recruitment of personnel, which is being replenished today, quite actively replenished thanks to mobilization, to specific conditions with civilians due to the implementation of a certain number of servicemen transfers, and thanks to the return to the military of servicemen who are temporarily in the reserve. To each of those who join, we in turn promise and guarantee, as commanders who have built units from scratch and have already reached the levels of separate regiments and a separate brigade, we guarantee exclusively competent application, providing everything necessary so that, having worked with a team of professionals, you returned home alive and unharmed, carrying with dignity the name of a true Ukrainian patriot who stood up to defend his native country, even after returning to the temporarily occupied territories, which we absolutely guarantee to legalize within legal boundaries. The grounds that we have, we just do this by providing personal support and guaranteeing the fulfillment of the commitments we have undertaken. So join the drone line. I'll leave a link to it here. I have finished the report. You watched the Yobliki yesterday. You will watch it tomorrow, and we will continue doing this. The full moon. Tonight the worms will be clearly visible. So this night there will be no other options except for the average 1.5 of worms' dumb faces laid with water, and 140 to 150 units of affected and destroyed enemy targets daily. I will report in the usual mode of daily communication with you. Thank you, Eisenstink, Worm Horror,